I passed a 50K funded account and I blew it in 2 days. But what happened? I don't want to make this video exactly as I make my weekly videos or just doing a recap of all the trades that I took, because honestly I only traded Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, so that's only 3 days. But I did want to get in there and really break down exactly what ended up happening so that you can learn from my mistake. Honestly, no matter how you're trading, there's no excuse to blow in an account in 2 days. I'm being honest with you. I'm gonna show you the account. Let's head in there real quick. As you can see in my Discord, link is down in the description. You can see down here I passed an account, and this was passed on Wednesday, and by Friday I had blown the account, hitting daily drawdown on 2 days back to back, blowing the account. I'm being honest with you, and that's all that I can really do. I want to show you that I don't have a trading problem. I really don't think, let me rephrase that, I don't have a strategy problem or a technical analysis problem. Mine is more psychological, because it's okay to lose. What did it for me, long story short, was just straight up over trading and not willing to walk away from taking a loss. I wanted to end the day on a positive note, and I wanted to recuperate my money, and it just ended up being bad, especially with how we've been moving this week. And I wasn't completely wrong on everything, but let me just introduce the video and then we'll talk about everything. As I always say, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time watching, my name is Lewis and I'm just simply documenting my trading journey. As you already seen at the beginning of the video, we're just gonna do a back testing session. I'm going to back test this week, and I'm going to really pinpoint where I was wrong on things, and I want you to see my thought process when it comes into the charts. I am going to show you the trade that I ended up passing the account with on Wednesday, and then from there we're going to clear my chart and we're going to go straight into it. We're going to talk about the sponsor of this video real quickly though, and the Discord. Let's hop straight into it and then we'll talk about it all in there. Now, first and foremost, thank you so much for the amount of support. Hopefully we'll be at 1,400 subscribers by the time this video is up. I wouldn't be where I'm at without you. Thank you so much for the support, and if you have found any value from my videos, let me know down in the comment or share with a friend and let me know how they're going. Make sure you follow me on Instagram, on TikTok, especially on Instagram if you want to see trading content like this, because I know for a fact that now I am the first person to edit their executions in this style, and if you see anybody else doing this style, just know that they got it from me. And look at the date. Go on my Instagram, look at the first date of that video, and if you find anybody else, look at the date on when they posted those videos, because I haven't seen anybody do it like that, and I've been getting a lot of feedback from a lot of people in the trading community saying that they had never seen anybody do that type of style on their executions. Maybe that type of style on, you know, certain edits for their videos, but not that style on their execution videos like I'm doing. Apart from that, Lewis Visuals _ for Instagram, and then follow me on TikTok as well. Now let's head into the sponsor of this video, Tektronix PCs. If you're looking for the best quality PC with the best parts in the markets, make sure you check out Tektronix PCs. Their website is under the works right now, but I will put up the video of the build that they had made for me. I had gotten a case from them and extra RAM on that build, so this is what it looks like. The quality is impeccable. I would suggest that you message them on Instagram right now and use my discount code LVFLIP for 10% off on all purchases. Be on the lookout because their website is going to be up very soon, and they got a lot of things in the works. But apart from that, that's all I have to say from Tektronix. Let's head into the Discord. Now we're here in the Discord. We've been very active recently. I am extremely grateful for all the people that have been in here. We all extremely active, especially the new members who've joined recently. I appreciate you guys for actually being active, and if you're gonna join, just be active. That's all that I ask. The link is down in the description. But we've been talking a lot all week, and hopefully it continues to do that and continues to get better. If you're wanting to join the premium Discord and get access to all of this, you hit the join premium and it's all there. If you want to see testimonials, hit testimonials and you can see everything in there. Apart from that, that's all I have to say about the Discord. If you want to join, link is down in the description. Now let's get into the video. All right, this is the week that we ended up having, with a Wednesday high down to a Thursday low. And I think, if I'm being honest, I think, well, it depends on what we do Sunday and leading into Monday. If we end up respecting this order block and keep heading higher, then we're bullish. I think we're still bullish on the long term overall, but we could be bearish in the short term, especially with all the turmoil that's going on in the world right now. We could be targeting next the previous week low, which is this low right here from Monday the 2nd. So be on the lookout for that. Apart from that, let's look at the trade that I took on Wednesday to pass the account, and then I'm gonna clear my charts and we're just gonna do back testing. We're just gonna do a simple back testing session. Hopefully it won't be too long, but I need to go back and just see where I went wrong, man. That's basically it. All right, let's head into Wednesday the 11th, which was the only day that I traded. I did not trade on Monday or Tuesday. I traded Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and passed the account on Wednesday. Blew it by Friday, which is, I'm just being honest. But yeah, let's head in there and look at it real quickly. Now here on Wednesday, this is the trade that I ended up taking. It was a 6R, which got me the profit target that I needed to win the trade. I know it looks like a loss in here, but it wasn't. I'll just have to jump into the smaller time frames, but I did want to talk about what I was thinking in this trade, and it was basically just a rebalance trade. Didn't know that we were going to be bearish, if I'm being honest, on Wednesday, but I did take a long inside. I believe it was a breaker, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, this breaker here here, low, high, lower, low, higher, high, come back into the breaker, rebalance here into the 5 minute, got my points and got out. That was the trade entry that I took. We rejected off a inverse fair value gap in here as well, so I took the entry in there. As you can see, low, high, lower, low, higher, high, back inside the breaker, long them in here, stop below here originally, and then once we started to move up, hit my TP up here and got out. That is the trade that passed me the account. And as you can see up here, we had an SMT up here. I was going to take a short, but I just decided to take the trade that I saw in the moment, which was this rebalance up to this fair value gap. It was also a 1 minute fair value gap, so I thought that we would at least try to get back up into it. I knew there was a possibility we could just tap into it and reverse, but it gave me the points that I needed and then started to reverse, so I can't be mad at it. But that is the trade that I took here on Wednesday to pass the account, and Wednesday was CPI. But now, if I'm being honest, I just want to go back and do some simple back testing, like simple as it can go. I know Monday there was a pretty good trade, but Monday was, you know, no news. Tuesday there was no news, and we had CPI on Wednesday, so it was better just to watch. And I can't remember if I did take a demo trade on Monday. I probably did. Here it is. I actually saw both the entries on Monday, which was this fair value gap entry in here, which I did take, and then I re-entered at 10 o'clock in here, and that's why it's moved up here. But I did take that paper trade. I hesitated on Monday on my actual account because I knew I needed one trade to pass the account, but it is what it is. Let's hop into everything that happened and just do some back testing in my style of trading. If you know you see something else, anything different that you see that I don't, I can't really say anything. But the first thing I'm gonna do is just remove the drawings. So drawings are gone. All the trades that I took on Wednesday, Thursday and Friday, I'll talk about them if I remember off the back of my head. If I don't, then it is what it is. But I got cooked either way, so can't be mad at what ended up happening. But let's take a look real quickly on Monday. First thing I will do though, let's just mark it real quickly just to mark off the previous week high, which is this right here. So I'm gonna mark it off really quick just because I want to make sure that I keep that in mind, because these levels are important. So that previous week high, and I knew that was the initial draw at the beginning of the week as well, so I should have just been looking for a trade entry. Now I think that we're gonna target this low next week, but I'm just gonna have it in there as a reference, if that makes sense. And I also like to mark out my weeks. So that week here, this is the previous week low. All right, now let's head back in. All right, so this helps a lot. So this is what the week ended up looking like. Now let's head into Monday really quickly and then just look at the trade that set up on Monday, just so that I can explain what my thought process was in that paper trade that I did take. And I just need to start taking them, but I like to start on the 4 hour, honestly, if I'm being 100%. And looking at what Sunday open did, there is a fair value gap here. We respected that fair value gap as well. Now let's see here. I see that we have a turtle soup right here, liquidity taken there. And just to be a little funny, let's look at this turtle soup in there, right? And I'm already bullish, so I'm targeting previous week high, or at least this high from Friday, as the exit liquidity for the trade. So that is what ended up happening on Sunday open during London session. Now let's head into the 15 really quickly for that. And as we can see here, all right, here we are. So this is the key level, which is the 4 hour fair value gap. Asia, we can clearly see that we came down into the 4 hour gap and swept liquidity as well as this liquidity. So we had a sweep of liquidity in Asia. We could expect expansion from London, and if we retract in New York below the day open, I want to mark exactly where the 12 o'clock open is. So this is the 12 o'clock open. The only time that we were below the open was here during actual London session on Monday. So a lot of chop in there. Best entry would have been here. Why? Because we have this right here, which in itself is an order block. These are the last down close candles before the swoop, and then obviously we rejected away from that there. So this right here, and then if you bring it out, we have the tap inside of the order block. So that is the trade entry that I took on Monday, but on demo I was too afraid to take it at 9:30 at the open. I don't know why, but we can mark it off here again. Let me make this a dotted line real quick. That's the 12 a.m. open. This would be the order block, and if order flow is gonna run correctly, you can see, and that it did, obviously with the rest of the day being choppy because it was a no news Monday, but we could have got a very good target up here, being this buy side liquidity from Friday. So you could go ahead in there and already frame your idea. Let's see what happened on the 1 minute, for example. This is the same thing because price is fractal, so this is the same exact thing happening on the lower time frames. I will bring up ES because I do remember on this day specifically there was a 1 minute SMT at that key level, which was the order block. So I don't know why I hesitated on this trade, and honestly I don't think I will hesitate again, because if I lose, I lose. So be it. As long as it's a good trade, I can't be mad at it. If it's a trade that's following in your system, you really can't be upset about it. It is what it is. But here it is. Let me zoom in a little more. This is obviously the key level, but here it is. This low. Down here, we end up SMTing a lower low on NQ with a higher low on ES. That is the 1 minute SMT. Then we end up having a very simple unicorn model with a low, high, lower low, higher high, fair value gap. This is the breaker. I guess you could say order block. It's all the same nonsense, really. I should have took it right here, fair value gap entry, and I did take it on demo, so I know what's happening. I take it on demo, but I wasn't confident enough to actually risk on this trade, and it's my fault. But we have the order block itself here. I ended up hitting the opening price of the order block as well. This is the order block. You also have this right here being the breaker, so it's just confluences on top of confluences. This was a very good trade entry to take. We also had generated liquidity right here, right above the CE of the fair value gap. As you can see there, it's just a perfect trade entry, and I remember taking it on demo and I was like, fudge, I should have took it. All right, take that. Safe stop below the SMT with a 25-point stop. In reality, knowing myself, probably a 10-point stop, and I wouldn't have been mad at this if they stopped me out. Would have seen to look for another entry, but wouldn't have needed to. I target 50 points, easy, 1 of 5, but the target that I had set earlier was hit very well on this day. Had no problem with it, as you can see, and that was what, a 9R off of my hesitation, and I ended up taking profits up here on the paper trade either way. But that is the first trade, and that would have passed me the account easily on Monday, very easily on Monday. Now, would I recommend it because it's the Monday with no news right before CPI? No. So that's why I hesitated on that trade, on taking it on the actual account, but everything was there. It was a very good entry. Can't really be mad at it. But now let's head back out into Tuesday. I didn't trade at all. I knew Tuesday was gonna be some crazy stuff, and as you can see, it was crazy choppy on Tuesday, so I'm just gonna skip over it. But we had some craziness happening at 11:30 and then just kept heading higher. I was still bullish, so it is what it is on Tuesday. Now let's take a look here on Wednesday. Now Wednesday was the CPI day. I didn't trade on Tuesday, like I said, because it was the Tuesday before CPI. There's no point of trading the Tuesday before CPI, especially if there's no news. And if we do this, we expanded very much in Asia, which was what, 158 points, and then in London expand as well, another what, 209 points. Like that's like 360 points just the overnight session. There's no point of trading here. I knew it was either gonna be choppy or it was gonna do something crazy, so I didn't trade it. I think I took a demo trade, but it doesn't really matter. Let's take a look here on Wednesday. Now we have CPI. Now paying attention, we have taken previous week high already, but what happens during CPI? Let's take a look. During CPI, let's look at the 4-hour real quickly as we have it in there. Where's Wednesday? This is Wednesday, right? So let me mark Wednesday real quick just so that we can see. So Wednesday starts basically right here. As you can see, end up dumping off later in the afternoon session for Wednesday, but the news candle ends up booming, right? Previous week high is taken one last time, and there are some things that I will not say because I only talk about these things with my premium Discord so that they can get an understanding. Like I said, I don't have an analysis problem. My problem is psychological, and as we get into Thursday and Friday, we'll talk about the psychological problems because I want you to learn from my mistakes. But what do we do on Wednesday? So the news comes out on Wednesday, and at 8:30 we sweep all buy side liquidity from this week, basically, right? So we sweep the liquidity from Monday and Tuesday. Buy side is gone, right? So what's left? All this sell side liquidity from Tuesday and even Monday. All right, so the news comes up, and there was a nice short. This short, very nice, but I wasn't up. I was not up at all. I remember it exactly, and we could bring it. It's in the 1 minute. I'll show you real quickly. But news data candle itself at 8:30 ends up being souped on ES, so turtle soup, as you can see in there, creating an SMT with a higher high on ES and a lower high on NQ. This is the trade I set up before I even got into the market, so I didn't see this, but I saw it afterwards. Then we have a CISD on both, so now I could put this away. Looking at NQ, you could have easily targeted the 8:30 low or even these lows down here. As you can see, they did get hit, so let's just say we're doing the 8:30 lows. Let's just say that is what we're targeting. Let's say this right here is your draw on liquidity. This is your sell side liquidity. Right here we have a CISD order block. Is there a fair value gap in there? Fair value gap, I never got tapped, so I guess the fair value gap wouldn't have worked, but we do have a CISD right there. As you can see, this candle at 8:43 comes back into the CISD, which was the perfect entry for shorts. And somebody in my Discord actually did take it, but let's take a look real quick. Right there, CISD entry. Now safe stop loss was obviously this would have been a good one because this is the SMT, so a 28-point stop is not horrible. Extremely safe is this stop. Obviously if they go up above this, your idea is just completely wrong, but another safe stop would have been, you know, either above the order block with 18 points, or you could have done this here, or just for myself, I would have done 10 points. So this would have been my entry, and obviously targeted the low of the 830 candle, which was seen here. And as you can see, a 12R for that. And you could have even gotten a little bit more, because if you would have targeted this down here, it would have been a 13R. That is a very good trade. That is an amazing trade, but that is not the trade that I hesitated on Wednesday. Hesitated extremely hard on Wednesday. Hesitated crazy, right? So we end up having an SMT. All right, let me now hide this. We end up having an SMT below here, these lows, and Q ends up taking the lows, making a lower low. And I'll show you ES real quickly. ES right here, those same lows, making a higher low. Now ES is showing strength. So I think this is the trade that everybody and their mama took on Wednesday, and I hesitated because I was afraid of losing. And I gotta be honest, I was afraid of losing. End up now inverting this fair value gap. That could have been an entry in there. I was honestly thinking about taking it down here, but I chickened out. Then I seen, obviously, we have this here, which is a CISD. So now this becomes a order block. As you can see as well, there's a fair value gap right here, and this is the entry that I took on demo, but hesitated on taking on my actual account. And it's annoying because I should have just took it, honestly. And then ES actually at 10 o'clock, this low right here ended up swooping these two lows on NQ, or on ES, and NQ didn't, creating an SMT there. So that could have been an entry in itself. It's also a CISD right here, which you can see right there, and you could have targeted whatever you were targeting. Honestly, looking back on it, I think Wednesday went up into, what was it? Wednesday, you could have been targeting the halfway point or the CE of this wick. On the 15-minute, there was also, I believe, an SMT above this high. Let's see ES real quickly. Yeah, so there was an SMT above this high as well, making a higher high on NQ, but a lower high on ES. So that could have been your signal for shorts if you were already bearish, claiming that would have been the high of week, honestly, an idea. And then, you know, just wrote it down, and that's exactly what happened. It just dumped from there. I could erase this now, but you know, that's the halfway point of that 1 hour wick. And then, you know, there was the short that I ended up taking, or missing out. I didn't take the short. I was thinking about taking it, hesitated on the short as well, because I saw it and I had an idea that the way that we were moving all morning, this was very slow. This was very slow. It took a long time to get from there up here compared to from there down here. It just melted afterward. But like I said, I took the trade entry in here. They came back up above the CE of this fair value gap, which was what I was targeting, and they gave me the amount that I needed. You know, that was honestly the best short position as well. So where I got out would have been a very good spot to get in. Stop above the SMT, maybe 21 points, not horrible. You could have easily had a 10-point stop as well and got away with it there, and targeted the lows down here. Very good trade entry, very nice trade. And there it was, what, a 12R, 13R basically. So a bunch of good trades on these days. Hesitated on long, the short. I took the long here, but the short I did not take. It is what it is. And let me see on the 4 hour what happened on that day too. No, not too much. Let me see if I bring up the other. No, there's no turtle soup, nothing. So yeah, it is what it is. That's what happened on Wednesday. Now let's move on to the 2 days that actually ended up blowing my account, and all based off of stupid trades and honestly FOMO and not being able to be disciplined enough to actually wait, really. So as you can see, we clearly, this was gonna be the high of the week. But do you anticipate that coming into New York session Monday or New York session on Thursday? No, I was bullish in the session Thursday. A little confused, but I remember still being a bit bullish just because of the fact that we left these equal lows. I knew that at some point we were gonna come lower, but I saw that we had this here, which is a turtle soup, and we had news on Thursday, if I remember correctly. So we had PPI, if I'm not mistaken, on Thursday coming into the day. So we have these lows down here being sell side liquidity, right? Then we start to expand away, right? And then there was an SMT on YM. Actually, if you bring up YM, you can see that YM down here ended up taking the low from the 2 a.m. candle, and ES and NQ didn't. Can't see NQ, but there was an SMT, meaning bullishness. So I was bullish, but I was still a little bit bearish, and I think contradicting myself messed me up on this day. 100% can't say nothing else about it. But PPI, we end up dropping below here, creating equal lows. So I knew at some point we were gonna come for those equal lows because they were too clean. But at the time, I saw that we should expand, we should go higher, and head higher we did. Obviously, coming into, you can see as OTE right here, here, bearish OTE, perfect order block right here. If you go on the 4 hour as well, NQ didn't, but ES did tap the rejection block, and you can see it right here. Boom, rejection block tapped. We also had an SMT at the high right here with NQ not taking out the high, and ES did take out that high. So it is what it is. Then you can see why that short was so amazing. But there was also a good long opportunity at 8:30 or 9:30, because as you can see here, this is the 9:30 fair value gap entry. Obviously you would have to be careful on your take profit, but I think honestly not take profit on your entry, just because of how big this fair value gap is. But as you can see, for me, I think the best entry would have been this turtle swoop right here at 10, because there was an SMT there. I didn't take it, hesitated on it. That's the story of this week, is me being scared to lose, honestly. But hesitated here at 10 a.m. with this turtle swoop, and you know, expanded. Could have easily got my 50 points out of this, targeting this order block. Knowing myself, would have probably been targeting up here, because I would have probably been still bullish. But it is what it is. And if you look in here, we have an SMT right here, and I was about to take the trade, and then this candle happened. After that candle happened, I just kind of gave up on it. But nice SMT. This is the 9:30 open here inside the 15-minute fair value gap. They come back down into what at the moment OTE, SMT at it, and that could have been the entry long in my eyes for that. Enter somewhere like this, stop below here, and then targeted whatever 50, 60, to the point where you could have got 120 points out of that and been very happy. Honestly, you could have even been targeting this here for 91 points. It is what it is. That is the long opportunity. But then Thursday, it just showed like it was so easy as well, because if you come in here, you can clearly see there was a big SMT at this high. All right, so there's a huge SMT there. We don't hit the rejection block, which is an SMT in itself, because you can see here ES does. Now let's look at the 15-minute on ES, see how that looks. Yeah, that was crazy. Here on NQ, yeah, but we never took that out. That is the SMT in itself. I guess an entry could have been something in here somewhere, like this CISD here. Once this candle closed, this here could have been an entry in itself for a short here, somewhere in here, and then had your stop above the SMT high, and then, you know, targeted the equal lows that they left. Would have had a very nice short opportunity here Thursday. So that's kind of why I'm a little bearish going into next week, at least until we take out the previous week low, because there is a weekly order block, if I'm not mistaken, a weekly or a daily order block down there that you can look at. But that's where I messed up on. I was taking longs or something like that here, and it was just stupid longs, way above premium. Could have waited also for them to come below this here inside this fair value gap. I remember I wanted to see if they would do something like this, and you can see they come back into this order block. Could have got at least 50 points on the long there, but I wasn't patient enough. I was trying to take longs up here, just didn't wait, man. It's so stupid, man. If I could remember correctly, I was taking long. Like, I think I took a long in here. I was thinking about going short to get back to equilibrium, but still, as you can see, this fair value gap in here would have been a good entry. And then I did take this on demo. I remember I took it on demo. I sent it in the Discord. This is it right here. I took it on demo and it ended up hitting for a couple points. I was targeting a little bit higher for that high, but they never took it out. As soon as I saw the SMT, I would have got out. But as you can see, this is the long. But let's talk about Friday. As you can see. But Friday, let's just talk about the day that ended up cooking me, because like I said, it was a matter of me not being able to step away. I could have easily got out on Thursday minus $300 after 2 trades. I looked at my account and I saw minus $300. That's easy. Average win for me is $1,000 plus. So it's stupid of me to even continue to trade, and you can see this, like, that's crazy in itself, but very stupid of me to continue to trade on that day. It is what it is. Now here, Friday, 2 trade opportunities that I think would have been very good, that I think would have been best for me, if I'm being 100% honest. Obviously, bullishness in the morning. At 9:30, we end up tapping this fair value gap entry right here. But why? All right, let's go to the 4 hour, trusty 4 hour. There's a big gap. I at least anticipated us to, you know, try to get up to this high, and that's why I'm saying if this continues higher, we're heading up to these highs. But if it just keeps heading lows, we're heading for the previous week low. But I knew we would try to dig into the fair value gap a little bit more. We also have these up close candles, which are order blocks in themselves. We have a breaker right here, so you know, it is what it is. But after I saw them hit this rejection block, I knew that it was kind of bearish in a way. But in the morning session, they were definitely bullish, so I was looking for longs. Now I got cooked because I wasn't patient enough and I was over trading. No, bummer. hammer, but I obviously saw this turtle soup down here, so they took liquidity there. And I'm also gonna mark the afternoon session turtle soup, which was this, given a very good opportunity in the afternoon session. But as you can see, that is what happened. We also have a what is this here? A breaker. We have a breaker right here. This is a breaker. So that's why I'm saying if they continue to respect this breaker, they're gonna be bullish. If they disrespect the breaker, then they're heading for this low, and it's very clear what their draw on liquidity is. But let's take a look. This is an order block as well. So here at 5 in the morning, they tapped the order block one last time, and then they went up. Here I don't think they ever tapped the actual order block candle in the afternoon session, but at 9:30 I knew the draw on liquidity was Asia highs, and I did take the trade, and I got rimmed literally 1 point, and it was right here. It was right here. I took an entry, I believe like somewhere here, almost got stopped out, and I was 1 point away from taking TP. You can see this video on my Instagram as well, and there was an SMT at the Asia highs, as you can see here. This is Thursday, was Friday, up right here. This did not hit this at all, and it had lower, and I didn't close. Sometimes I see things so obvious, and then I just let the trade come back down to my break even instead of just closing and going for shorts. And there was multiple opportunities that I could have gone short, and I saw it. And it's so frustrating. It's so annoying when stuff like this happens. But as you can see here at 9:15 or so, they come down into that fair value gap that's there. Massive push. 9:30 opens, they drop into this down close candle and just massive push. Right, so then I enter long, I believe, in here. They come in deeper, cook me, go up. Then I think I enter again. They come back down, break even. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna give myself another chance, targeting that high. All right, so then they do this. I think they SMT down at this low. If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure they SMT at that low. Let's take a look. So as you can see right here, there's an SMT here, and I'll show you on ES as well because it's very clear. SMT right there. So as soon as I see that SMT, I'm like, okay, they're gonna head out to that high. I take my long in there. They go up, SMT at the highs, obviously these highs as well SMT'd, but they also SMT at the Asia session high. Then they come back down 1 point away from hitting my target. Would have got $1,000 right there. Got all the money back that I lost the day before on Thursday, and probably would have called it a week if I'm being honest on that day, because I'm really good once I end the week on a W, or as soon as I end the day on a W. The problem is when I end it on a loss, and I'm going to overcome this. Like, it's so stupid. It's gotten to the point where I'm just so angry and tired of losing more than I should because I'm not following my rules, that it's just stupid of me to just follow my rules, honestly. But then I come in here and I see that we end up rejecting. This up here is for the higher time frame candle, obviously, but let's break it down in here as well. All right, so I see that we end up SMTing above here, so we sweep liquidity above here, also sweeping the liquidity of this candle. So this is another buy side. Right, so back down to the 1 minute at 10 o'clock. I notice we have news, and I see, right, for example, right here, this is the last up close candle to take buy side liquidity on that 15-minute candle, which makes this an order block. Obviously they had lower. What else can you do? And I did this in the moment. You bring out the fib, OTE, right? Didn't take the entry as soon as the 10 o'clock candle happened. Then I see this in real time right here. This I did do. CE, we have, what is this right here? This is generated liquidity. It's frustrating going back on it, really. Where is the liquidity? That's generated liquidity. Could have took a short right there. Stop either 10 points or above this high. But knowing myself, 10 points, targeted Narnia. Could have targeted anything, but honestly would have probably been targeting these lows. As you can see, 12R, crazy entry. So yeah, I get cooked because I keep taking longs, and I keep taking longs and longs and longs. Obviously we have a sweep of liquidity and we switch directions heading lower with an SMT at the highs, but it is what it is. Then I go in here and I take this monstrosity of a trade, which is this. So you can see all the stuff marked there. It's not like I'm just making this up. Above the 10 o'clock, the 50% marked it off. This is the order block that I was just talking about. They got into it, already marked off, and as you can see, this was sent when yesterday at 10:56. All right, so I'm like, okay, what is happening? And then you can see they just cooked with this trade. But then I remember, okay, that order block is still down there, right? What order block am I talking about? This one, bullish order block. Bada bang, bada boom. What is this? They come close to the order block, never tap it, but I do see an inverse fair value gap with speed. They inverse the hell out of it. Okay, they inverse it. It was, I guess, a breaker entry here. This could have been the breaker entry with a fair value gap, unicorn model, even to head higher. But I take that entry in there about here for that long that I showed you. It was like about there, and I have my stop like either below here or whatever it was. But then I was targeting the buy side liquidity of that, but also some 4 4-hour liquidity up here. I ended up closing after we started to dump because I then noticed this in the afternoon session, and then it's so frustrating when you notice stuff like this because you just got to deal with it, right? So we have that in there. Let me erase some stuff so it's not too crowded or too many things happening at once, but I'll leave the stuff that is needed. So we have this up here, which is a turtle soup, obviously. Then we have on the 15-minute, and you can see that there is an obvious change of state of delivery right here. Very simple. CISD there. That is an order block. Could have had the entry in there at the order block. 10-point stop. Would have been a little scary, but would have held. Very nice entry. Targeted these lows, and the rest is history for a almost 18R. And you don't need to catch these big moves. You don't need to catch the whole move. You could catch a short amount. Like I say, I target 50 points because that's $1,000 for one contract on E-mini, but it's there. It's all there. And you know, it may look different, but it's all there. It is what it is. And you know, for some fun, let's see if this did what I think it did. Yep, and it did. Right here, could have had a short opportunity even in here somewhere. Stop above this high. And if you really wanted the sniper entry, like I always say, so if you didn't like this 17R, you could have had this up here for a 14R. But let's have some fun with it. What RR is this looking like with a 10-point stop? 22. Crazy. But yeah, that's the week. I want to be honest with y'all and learn from it, man. If I just become more patient and stop taking stupid trades and trust myself and only take 2 trades. If I really stayed disciplined with taking 2 trades per day, that wouldn't have happened. That would not have happened because it would have been impossible. If I take 2 trades per day, 10-point stops on both trades, that's $400. If I hit full loss, that's not even a break even counting. That's not even a couple less points depending on the entry with the low, but I would have been down $800 instead of being down the whole account just for those 2 days. And it's crazy. It's crazy. And I think if I would have, for example, walked away on Thursday minus $400, came back on Friday with that long that I took, that I was up $900 and something on, I would have took profits because I would have easily been able to recuperate the money that I lost on Thursday and ended the week at a positive. So then just come back on Monday, reset, and continue with the funded account. But now I have to start over again with another funded account because I wasn't patient enough. But that's all I want to talk about. That was a very long video. I apologize for it being this long, but if you learned something, hopefully you did. Please make sure you check out Tektronix on Instagram for their PCs. Use my discount code LVFlip. Follow me on Instagram at LewisVisuals_. Follow me on TikTok at LewisVisuals. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share with a friend. Let me know how your trading week went down in the comments. Let me know how you're doing on your journey. Join the Discord. Link is down in the description. And that's pretty much everything I have to say. I'm not going to let this define me. I'm not going to let this stop me. I'm going to fix this over trading issue because all I have to do is fix my psychology. Apart from that, I'm a very good trader. And as you can see, everything logically explained is just that, you know, I was having problems psychologically. But that's about it, man. I hope you enjoy the rest of your week, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.